students. You are welcome to the machine learning lecture series under the knowledge series segment. As the slide shows about the machine learning normally confuse most of the peoples by hearing the terms machine. The machine itself is a computer that does a similar replica of the human learning methods. As the figure, it shows that the left side a computer, on the right side a human being. But there is a difference between the computer as well as the human being. In the case of a human being, it follows the instructions. That means it accepts the instructions to learn as well as to build up their experience. Whereas on the other hand, computer does not accept the instructions. Rather, we feed the data, and that data is being stored in its memory, and based on the data it does its different activities. So if you see the model in terms of a block diagram, in the computer side, if you try to look across, there is a model. You give a new data as an input, and this input is being given to a computer. Assume that a computer itself is being programmed based on the given input data to deliver a predicted form of an output. So if the computer can able to produce an output based on the program that is being termed as a model, and whenever we give any input it will produce an appropriate output, then that particular systems we call it as a machine or a machine learning mechanisms. So if we try to give a similar form of a data from a computers to this particular model, and this model will able to produce the output. But there is a difference as compared to the human. So let me give an example with respect to the human. Human learns based on the experience. Say for example, you take an example when a child goes to the school in the LKG. When the child goes to the school in the LKG class, at that time the child may not be knowing, say, ABCD learning. But on the very first day, when the teacher will teach them based on the input, the alphabets, after a few days the child will able to understand what is that particular ABCD indicates. That means it will able to produce the output based on the learning that is being given by the teachers. Or the child, whenever the child see that particular alphabet anywhere other than the classroom platform, or maybe in the home or in outside, the moment the child see that particular A, then the child will immediately make a particular remark that it's an alphabet A. So that is based on the experience the child learns. Now when we come to the case of a machine learning or a computer learning, the program, once we write the program, and that program based on the given input will produce the output. So the computer has to feed that particular form of a input data, then only it will produce the similar output. If the data changes, the computer may not able to produce the similar output, because the computer is being given the particular form of a learning mechanisms based on the given written programs or a written algorithms, so that we termed it as a model for a time being. So this is what we termed as a machine learning. But machine learning, actually it is the field of a study in the area of artificial intelligence that provides the systems or the machines, or we say the computers, that ability to learn automatically without human interventions. That means here the human learns by itself and or with the help of others. But here, once the machine is being given a particular form of a training, then after that the machine will able to deliver its performance based on the training that the machine is being put across. Or in another word, I can say that machine learning is a field of a study that gives a machines or a computer to learn and able to predict its output based on any new inputs that we impart to these particular machines or the model systems. So this is what we termed it as a machine learning. So machine learning is one of the most demandful and the most hot topic in the current academic or in the industrial field, where the peoples are putting much efforts to learn, as well as there is a ample scope for the machine learning in the futures. Now we will come to the another segment of the machine learning, the terms like a testing and training. What is meant by testing and what is meant by training we will talk about. Now when we see across this particular figure, there is a figure which is being termed with the futures. Futures, future means, say for example, if you take an example of a current our novel corona diseases, which is daily being evaluated based on the statistical data we see in the COVID-19. In the COVID-19, we are daily we are seeing different cases, say confirmed cases, recovered cases, death cases. So all these particular confirmed cases or recovered cases, death cases, these are nothing but the terms related to the futures. So if you take example, a cat future is being shaped in terms of its appearance. So in the same way, if I am taking say for example x1 is one futures. So in the futures of a cat, we have to write the cat has a tail, cat looks is having a soft touch, its appearance, it has a moustache, and its sound is different as compared to the elephant or dogs. So like that, different features of the cats is being put across. So like that, if you take any object, its future is being determined based on the attributes. So that's why this is one attribute I have shown in terms of a term like a future. Multiple future means we can have a multiple attribute. Here I have given example of a COVID-19. So if I am taking a confirmed cases, let us take a confirmed cases, let us take a recovered cases or a death case. The confirmed cases of a state of Kerala, so we will take it in terms of a district. If we take the confirmed cases in terms of different states in India, then we will take a different states of India in terms of a confirmed cases. Or we take a confirmed cases in terms of age. So these are nothing but futures that we termed it as. And this term X is being related to the data Y. That means whenever we want to learn, or whenever the systems want to learn, or whenever the computer wants to learn, or whenever a machine wants to learn, the input X is being fed as a input, and thereby this Y is being determines the output that the machine is going to produce. And this X and Y relation is being put in such a way that under the testing phase, if the this X can able to produce a Y output Y as the predicted data, then under the training case, that same X and data Y might have or it has been put across under the training segment in terms of x and y relations. That means first comes training and then testings. I have put here testing and training in such a way that the people should understand what is in by testing and training. So when the training is given between the input x to get a y, the same thing should go with the testing phase. If a new input x is given, then it should also produce a output y. So in the initial phase, this is what I have been I'm going to express to you in terms of a testing and training. But in a real sense, this testing and training you will understand more in detail in my next slides, where this testing and training is being differentiated in terms of data sets. Now here let us take the training and testing in terms of a single feature. Now if you try to see the previous slide, I have given a features with and given a multiple features x1, x2, x3, and I have not here made any terms, only stated that if the training is given between x and to produce a y, under the testing case also the x will produce a output y. So that is what a normal human being also does, and a machine should also perform, because in the human as a child goes to school, learns the instructions, and thereby it will able to know based on this instruction or based on these examples. If the question is been put, the answer will be output y. The same thing is that in the case of a machine, based on the training, if the given x, the y is if it is producing, under the testing case for the given x, it has to produce a y. So we take the one of the sets of the x where x is being considered for the entire data set. This x, complete x, is an x data set. Now in the x data set, we are dividing that one into two layers, that is the upper layer and the bottom layer. Now in the case of a upper layer, we term this one as a train sets, and in the bottom side we termed it as a x test. So that means x data set is used for the x train. Similarly, there is a y train I have to, that means a data set related to the related to the y is used for the y train. And here also I put there is a x test, that means x data test data set is used for the test, and y data set is used for the test. Now what is the difference between x and y, we will see in the next segment. Now you have to assume that time being I have segregated this one as a x and this one as a y, but in a real sense this entire sheet is nothing but a data set where this x is there and a y also there, but we are making a demarcations between the x